They dropped 70 pounds in 40 days, 20 pounds in 8 days, 40 pounds in 40. I mean, crazy numbers. So this is hotter, easier, and faster than Ozempic as far as I can tell. And I said, what the hell is this? I need to know. Is it a model it or bottle it kind of thing? Tall, short, skinny, fat, Gigi, Giselle, Miranda, Chanel, you gotta get back. You gotta get back on that model's diet. That model's diet. That model's diet. Hey, I'm your host, Nina Dans, and welcome back to Model's Diet Podcast, your go-to source for the latest and most intriguing trends in self-care. Whoa, I am so excited about today's episode. Before I even get to today's episode, you know that, well, if you don't know, I got an investment property. Yeah, so my husband got me an investment property. I had been wanting one for a while so I could do short-term rentals. It was beautiful at first. I bought this house that was built in 1870, and I'm going to make sure that Ace shows you what happened in this house. We didn't even close yet. It was the night of the walkthrough. The ceiling starts raining. Yeah, I have a leak in the roof, the leak in my ceiling. Now, mind you, I had an inspection done. So it's not like, and also we had disclosures from the seller saying that there were no ongoing leaks. And the night of the walkthrough, well, thank God. God is so good because it was raining. It had been raining cats and dogs for the longest here. But I want to make sure my mic is on because I love touching and tapping that thing. It had been raining cats and dogs, and it just so happened the night of the walkthrough, it starts just pouring every day, and the ceiling, it just starts coming through. And if you're on my Instagram, you probably saw my post today of the me going back and forth to the investment property, checking on the dehumidifier, checking on whether the leak was getting bigger or worse. If you want to know more about my investment property journey, please go ahead and hit me up at the Nina Daniels on Instagram, and I'll be happy to share, and I will be sharing my journey with this 1870 home bought in the historic district. God help me. Oh my goodness. But at the end of the day, we did close. The sellers did give me more money. And I'm still really happy that for a home built in 1870, this kind of minor thing so far, because anybody who owns a home knows so far, and Melissa and I always talk about this because we know so far things are where they are. It's like a baby. You just never know what they're going to do, like a toddler. They say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You don't know what's going to happen with the home. But I'm praying that we are able to get this home in shape soon so that we can start doing short-term rentals. And that's our goal with it. So enough about that. This week's episode, I am super excited about because it's kind of something that I think that I want to try and can try. It's not something that's not within my wheelhouse in terms of diet. So let's just get to it. I'm just so excited about today's topic. And I really don't even need notes for this because today's topic is hyper ketosis. And if you thought keto was crazy, wild, why would anybody do it? Hyper ketosis is like keto's scandalous, juiced up cousin. Hyper ketosis is crazy. And this is something that came across my path really recently because I was on TikTok, or I don't even know if I was on TikTok. Somehow the internet brought me to TikTok. Anyway, I was on the internet trying to find out how to make my own electrolyte. So because I do intermittent fasting with the carnivore diet, I was like, okay, I want to make my own electrolyte, even though I love Element. And, definitely I would say try out Element if you need an electrolyte. But I wanted something that I can make on my own at home because it started to get really costly. And I'm like, well, is there a way to just create your own electrolyte? So I did. So I started, going down that Google. The rabbit hole brought me to hyper ketosis. And I was like, what is that? What I have been seeing, and there are different versions of this hyperketosis diet. And I'm not 100% sure which version is the actual version. I don't even know if hyperketosis is a diet. I think it might be a buzzword that was created for the internet. I'm honestly not sure because I know keto is a diet, but and ketosis is what you is a state in which you get into when you are on keto. You can get into a state of ketosis, the same as if you're on a carnivore diet, which is increasing your fat, increasing your protein, but mostly fat and then protein. No vegetables if you're on carnivore. Lots of vegetables if you're on keto. I know what ketosis is. A lot of us know what ketosis is, and I know that that the keto diet can put you into ketosis, but hyperketosis, I was like, how is that different from keto? When I was on the internet, I was on TikTok, I believe. People were toting that they dropped 70 pounds in 40 days, 20 pounds in 8 days, 40 pounds in 40. I mean, crazy numbers. So here at Models Diet, we had to dive into this crazy trend that is having people just melt the weight off. I mean, this is hotter, easier, and faster than Ozempic, as far as I can tell. So I had to do some digging and had to share with you guys what I came up with. One version of hyperketosis says that you basically eat fat and fast. And that's pretty much what it is. You eat a lot of fat and you do a lot of fasting. But I found this other version of hyperketosis, and I have to tell you, I actually think this version might be the real version. And the reason why I say this because most of the people who had dropped enormous amounts of weight, they were following this particular version of hyperketosis. And by the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you what kind of electrolytes you can use. I'm also going to share with you what version of hyperketosis is the most powerful version. And right now, it's going to figure out what even is hyperketosis. One version was you have to eat a lot of fat and you have to fast. The second version is you have to intermittent fast. So no butter, no oil, no dairy, no exercise. So I saw versions of no butter, no oil, no dairy. Then I saw versions of none of those, plus you have to walk 10K steps. Then I saw one where they said, if you do that version, but you cannot exercise is bad. You can do maybe some walking, but they said to reduce inflammation, no exercise. So this thing is all over the place. Like it has eat fat, intermittent fast. Don't eat fat, intermittent fast, but don't exercise. Don't eat fat. Don't eat dairy. Don't exercise. One is eat fat, intermittent fast. Another one is don't eat fat, don't eat dairy, don't eat any oils, don't exercise. And another one is no fat, no dairy, exercise 10K steps minimum a day. So there are all these versions that I saw on the internet. Well, at least I'm not going to tell you which one's better. What I am going to say is which one I have seen that people got the best results out of that particular version. As you know, we're going to play our wonderful game this week, Model It or Bottle It. Is hyperketosis something that we think could stand the test of time, or is it something we want to throw out in the trash? I don't know. You guys tell me, have you guys tried hyperketosis? If you have, please go ahead and throw it down in the comments. And also, listen, if you have not subscribed to Models Diet Podcast yet, please do so right now. And if there are any topics, any kind of trends that you guys are super excited about, share with us. We may cover it and we'll thank you for it as well. This is what officially hyperketosis is supposed to be. Hyperketosis is like ketosis on rocket fuel. You have to eat less than 20 net carbs a day, 36-hour fasting windows, MCT oil, tallow, or butter in one version, exogenous ketones, and electrolyte hacks. It's a metabolic version of CrossFit, yet it's like without the lifting weights, if that makes sense. So one TikToker claims she lost 40 pounds in 40 days. And I pray I'm saying her name right because, I can't stand mispronouncing people's names. But her TikTok is Keto Food and Fitness. She claims that she lost 40 pounds in like 40 days, all by doing this hyper ketosis diet. Now, mind you, she's an African American woman. So, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because this diet seems to work across the board, no lie. Then we have this other TikToker, Luna Maria 14 is another one who also has said that she lost like 30 pounds in 40 days. So Luna, Quita, and also this is who I ran into or who I found on TikTok when I was looking for an electric light recipe, Coach Nate. Coach Nate says that he claims he lost 70 pounds in 70 pounds in 40 days. That's a lot of weight. How do you lose 70 pounds in 40 days? Now, I know people were claiming um, all this great success on like Ozempic and stuff like that, or even like keto and intermittent fasting. But have you guys heard anything that is as fast as this hyperketosis? Please comment down below. Let me know because I personally have not heard anything that has helped people drop weight so fast. Now, whether it's safe or not, I don't know. And remember, disclaimer, I am not a doctor. So please do not say that Nina said that. No, no, no. Please go speak to a medical provider if there's something that you want to try, and make sure no matter what diet, exercise trend that we talk about, make sure you go and get some real medical advice. Don't take my advice for it. I'm a comedian. I mean, I'm just blown away by the results. That just seems pretty intense. And then I'm wondering, and you're probably wondering the same thing, what about muscle mass? What about the skin? Are you going to need surgery? We already know losing weight rapidly can cause you to need, surgery or some kind of tightening of the skin, but this is super rapid. So this is what I was wondering. Because even though I do carnivore for inflammation, and I'm only losing about a half a pound a week. But I'm wondering, could you do hyperketosis with the carnivore diet? Because the next level of the keto diet is the carnivore diet. If you were like keto is the carnivore diet's little sister, and carnivore is like the big dog. It's the strictest, hardest version of that high fat, low carb diet. So I'm wondering if I could apply hyperketosis to carnivore. And I have decided starting tomorrow to try it. So I will check in with you every week to see what this hyperketosis situation, can it be applied to carnivore and how does it work? So I already know it can be, at least according to Chat GPT, it can be applied to the carnivore diet. So I just went in and said, hey, Chat, can the hyperketosis be applied to the carnivore diet? And what does that look like? And it brought up stuff for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually going to try this. And I think it might work. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm like really excited about seeing if the carnivore diet version will yield the same results as the hyperketosis version that everyone's talking about. What are the pros for going hyperketosis versus just keto? Insane weight loss, which is lots of water weight and fat weight, which is good. Mental clarity and energy. We love anything that makes us think straight, get our shit together, and keep our mind and body calm. We love that. Inflammation goes down. Now, for me, because I have autoimmune issues, this is what really helped me or made me curious to try, because I'm always looking for ways to naturally reduce my inflammation so I don't have to be on drugs. So I kind of love this. Therapeutic for epilepsy and insulin resistance. Wow, that's super cool too. So if you're epileptic or you have any kind of insulin resistance, this might be something you should talk to your doctor about. You might want to try. So far, it doesn't sound like something that we should avoid, but let's keep going and see what we come up with. Let's talk about the downside of hyperketosis. Is it dangerous or is it just uncomfortable? And is it safe for us to do? Is it a model it or bottle it kind of thing? Keto flu. You can get keto flu from the keto diet, from carnivore diet. You can get keto flu from any diet that reduces your carbs. So we know that. So that's something that is something we're familiar with. So if you don't know what the keto flu is, it's when you get headaches, you're irritable, and you're fatigued, right? It's because you probably jumped into it too quick. You didn't do an ease in to the diet, and your body is just kind of just cleaning out and clearing out all that crap because it's just not it hasn't adjusted to this new restricted diet. Funky breath. Oh, who wants funky breath, Lord? AKA acetone chic. I have never heard of that. Acetone chic. Who wants funky breath? That is terrible. Funky breath is not something that we want. So that's a bad thing. So then you're gonna figure out, maybe you have to brush a little bit more on the hyperketosis diet, or maybe you just have to, carry some mints. Although, what kind of mints can you have if you're not allowed to really have sugar? But can you do low sugar mints? I'm not even sure. I'm sure we're gonna get to that part soon. Electrolyte issues. All the people that I've seen on TikTok who were doing this hyperketosis diet, all of them had some type of electrolyte, every single one. All of them were drinking a really good electrolyte every day. I think it's part of at least one version of the hyperketosis diet. So I think that cramps and dizziness that you may get from lack of electrolytes, so far I have not seen this to be an issue because I feel like electrolytes are really, really important in this. So I don't think that we need to worry about that. And this is how I wound up, finding Coach Nate, is because I was trying to find electrolyte recipe, and it brought me to something called snake juice. And I was like, what in the world is snake juice? And that's how I wound up on TikTok. Isn't it crazy how you just go down? So it was a recipe that I saw, and took me in TikTok. And then I saw all these videos about the snake juice diet and snake juice. And then I got to Coach Nate, and I watched his video about hyperketosis and losing 70 pounds in 40 days. And I said, what the hell is this? I need to know. Digestive drama, constipation due to lack of fiber. That's also something that you could deal with. You deal with on like the carnivore diet. So I know that that's something that could be an issue, but I think if you're doing your electrolytes, you don't have to worry about that. I never had this issue. I think there are ways that we can minimize that. High cholesterol, kidney strain, hormone chaos. Women raised cortisol equals stress and hormonal mess. Diabetics risk of ketoacidosis. And these are all side effects. Now, let's be real. Don't you think that a lot of diets or medicines, yes, they all have side effects. I'm not saying that they should be ignored, but I feel like anything that's not done properly, you are going to get into some type of issue if you do not follow that diet or that trend the way you're supposed to. So all of these so far, even though some of them do sound a little bit alarming, still haven't made me go, no, not yet. Let's talk about this snake juice thing. So for me on the carnivore diet and anybody who intermittent fasts, you really have to have an electrolyte. That's why I used to always use Element. I really like it. It's really good because of a bunch of different flavors. But I wanted to try to make my own. So I came across this recipe. I heard about it from Coach Nate. And apparently Coach Nate isn't even the originator of the snake juice formula. Apparently Cole Robinson is the one who came up with this snake juice recipe. And I think it's supposed to be like electrolytes on crack. And then when I was watching TikTok, Coach Nate was talking about how you need to have snake juice. Snake juice is imperative, a very important part of this hyperketosis diet. So I feel like, or this hyperketosis plan, electrolytes will not be an issue if you decide to venture down this hyperketosis path. And it actually seems like hyperketosis focuses on electrolytes. So let me tell you what's in this snake juice. Pink Himalayan salt, the fine, not the chunky kind. Sodium bicarbonate, potassium chloride, and magnesium citrate. So these are the 4 ingredients for the original snake juice. It's supposed to be highly concentrated, markets itself as a potent source of electrolytes. may have a more neutral or saltier taste, depending on how you prepare it, as is primarily contains mineral salts. Now, I've also seen people put in apple cider vinegar, and I've also seen people put in lemon, like fresh squeezed lemon juice. So I've seen all those three versions, or four, depending on like if you add the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar at the same time. So I've seen these different versions of the snake juice recipe. And I will put in the description the exact measurements for the snake juice recipe so you guys can have it if you want to try it out. But let's think about this. Wouldn't you be kind of miserable if you haven't pooped in like 3 days? It's like, how do I tell my husband, hey, I'm stuck? Literally stuck. Can't get out. Like, that's crazy. We looked at some people, some of our actually we said, well, what does the science say? What does the science say? So Harvard says they warn about long-term saturated fat. Very Well Health says there are like 8 major risks. One was electrolyte, one was keto flu, bad breath, already said electrolyte issues, digestive issues, high cholesterol, hormone chaos, women, messing with our hormones, and diabetics, risk of ketoacidosis. UT Health recommends keto breaks, and functional medicine doc says it's okay in the short term if you monitor with labs. I like that one because I think anything you do anyway, you should be monitoring with the doctor and labs. But, sometimes we're quick to say this is dangerous, this is bad, but how do we even know? Because sometimes when you start doing your labs and you start getting bad, I think it's what happened with Ozempic. People are like, oh, Ozempic is bad. Oh, Ozempic shouldn't be on meds. But then now people who are obese no longer are overweight. They no longer have high cholesterol. They don't have high blood pressure. They can move around and chase their kids and pick them up and have a good time. Can you really argue with that? I don't think you can. I think that it really depends. I think that the key to, and what I'm figuring out, and probably what you're figuring out too here on Model's Diet, is that everything has a good version of it and a bad version of it. So we should try to focus on how to make whatever we're going to do for our lifestyle, try to make it as good and healthy as possible. So it seems like it's really, really good and a great reboot to whatever program you're doing. How do we try it without ruining your life, without making it detrimental to your health? We have a couple of tips that might help you out. Ease in. Ease-ins are so good. Ease in with a low carb diet like keto. Sometimes you want to jump right into things. Let's just ease in, stay hydrated, take that snake juice or element or some type of electrolyte. I think Dr. Berg has one. Just find something that works for you. Stay hydrated. Track your labs, which is really important. So, if you're doing this, you feel good, and all of a sudden, you're healthy, I think your doctor might tell you it might be a good thing. Get fiber with chia seeds, psyllium husks, any type of way to get fiber. Try to get fiber into your diet. Try Keto 2.0 with carb cycling. We should probably talk about that at some point in time. But you're not familiar with carb cycling. Let me know if you've tried it and what you think about it. And talk to a professional. We already said this. Make sure you go see a doctor or get medical advice. Remember I told you early in the episode that I was going to talk to you about what the best version of this hyper ketosis diet is and which one that I've seen people had the most success? Well, it was Coach Nate's version. He posted, this is what a day in the life of the best version of hyper ketosis. You eat 2 meals a day, 1 serving low-fat fish, chicken, beef, turkey. You do not cook it in oil. You do not cook it in butter. I saw people cooking it in broth, like chicken broth or beef broth. I've also seen people cooking it in water or using a nonstick pan. Ooh, we should be careful which one you use. And just cooking it straight in the pan with absolutely nothing. And when you're cooking beef, it has its own fat, so you don't have to worry about that. 1 serving of fruit. Bam! Whoa! Okay. Anybody knows that fruit's not part of keto? You cannot eat fruit. Maybe the low sugar fruits, like berries, but eating fruit like an apple, I saw people eating apples, I think plums, which was crazy, and like 5 servings of vegetables. 1 serving of low-fat fish, chicken, beef, or turkey, 1 serving of fruit, and like 5 servings of vegetables until you're full. And you only get to eat for 8 hours. So it's like if you do intermittent fasting, it's like a version of 16-8, where you eat for 8 hours and fast for 16 hours. So this is like the 16-8 version of intermittent fasting. Now to our favorite part. Is this a model it or a bottle it trend? Even though I am going to try hyper ketosis because I think that the carnivore version might be really good, I have to say we need to bottle it. I just don't think it's good for the long term. And I don't think it's good. I just don't think it's sustainable. I don't think anybody could sustain 2 meals a day, one piece of fruit, no fat whatsoever, no sugar whatsoever, ever, never. Those things just don't seem sustainable. So I'm going to say bottle it. Let me know what you think. Please hit me up in the comments. But I will say, for a reboot, or you just want to reset your body, maybe doing that is better than doing like a water cleanse, less harsh than doing like a juice cleanse or a water cleanse. So for that, I would say it's really great for reboot. But in terms of something that is long lasting and sustainable, sorry. That's a wrap. Y'all, hyperketosis may be the hottest trend out there on the market, but you might want to give your kidney stones and your therapist a break on this one because it might be super stressful. Because not eating for some people and constipation could cause you to be a little wacky. So I would just say, guys, if you're going to try hyperketosis, hit me up, let me know. If you have been able to sustain it long term, let us know. Tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to share with you guys the, the latest and hottest trends out there. So if you have not yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, like us and leave us a comment down here and let us know what you think. And if you have any ideas for another episode, we'd love to hear it. You can rate us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcast of choice. Guys, I can't wait till next time. Cello, G-string unit, we out.